The rain starts just as Claire's rental car dies in the middle of Main Street. Of course it does, because coming home to Millbrook after 15 years wasn't humiliating enough, without her sleek LA existence literally breaking down in front of the hardware store where she used to buy penny candy. She sits in the sudden silence, watching raindrops race down her windshield, each one carrying a piece of the confidence she'd carefully constructed since leaving this place. The dashboard clock glows, 6:47 p.m. She's already late for dinner with her parents, already failing at the simple task of driving 6 blocks without incident. The knock on her passenger window makes her jump. She turns, and the years collapse like a house of cards. Ethan. He's older now, broader shoulders, lines around those devastatingly familiar green eyes, stubble that makes her fingers remember the rough silk of his jaw. But it's unmistakably him, standing in the rain like he stepped out of one of her dreams, the one she pretends she doesn't have anymore. She rolls down the window, grateful for the barrier between them, however thin. Car trouble. His voice is deeper now, seasoned with years of use, but it still does that thing to her pulse that it did when she was 22 and stupid in love. Dead battery, I think. The words come out steadier than she feels. I can call. Pop the hood. It's not a question. Ethan's already moving to the front of her car, rain darkening his navy button-down. She watches through the windshield as he examines the engine with the same focused intensity he once brought to everything, fixing her bicycle, building the treehouse in his backyard, learning the exact way to kiss her that made her forget her own name. Stop. She climbs out of the car, immediately regretting it as the rain soaks through her silk blouse, the expensive one that was supposed to make her look successful and untouchable. When she faced her hometown, alternator shot, Ethan straightens, and suddenly they're standing too close, close enough that she can smell his cologne, different, now more sophisticated, but underneath it, that clean soap scent that is purely him. You're not getting this started without a tow. Great. She pushes wet hair out of her eyes, hyper-aware of how she must look bedraggled, defeated. Nothing like the polished TV producer who graced magazine covers just 2 years ago. Before everything fell apart. I guess I'll drive you. The offer hangs in the rain-thick air between them, dangerous, loaded with 15 years of unspoken words and unfinished business. Ethan, you don't have to. Where are you staying? He's already moving toward a silver pickup truck parked at the curb. New, but not flashy. Practical, so perfectly him that her chest aches. My parents. She follows, because what choice does she have? Because walking in this rain would ruin the only decent outfit she has left. Because despite every instinct screaming at her to run, part of her, the part she's spent 15 years trying to silence, wants to be close to him again. Even for 5 minutes. The truck's interior smells like leather and rain and possibility. Ethan starts the engine, the dashboard lights casting shadows across his face, highlighting the new lines there, wisdom lines, pain lines, time lines. So, he says as they pull away from her stranded car, Claire Morrison returns to Millbrook. The way he says her name like he's tasting wine, deciding if it's still good after years in storage, makes her stomach flutter with something she refuses to name. Just for the weekend, the lie comes easily. She hasn't told her parents she's been fired, hasn't told them she has nowhere else to go, hasn't told them she's been living in her assistant's spare room for 2 months because she can't afford her Malibu rent anymore. Just for the weekend, he repeats, but there's something in his voice, knowledge, maybe, or hope, that makes her look at him sharply. That's when she sees it, the gold band on his left hand, catching the light from an oncoming car. The world tilts sideways. Congratulations, she manages, the words scraping her throat raw. When's the wedding? His hands tighten on the steering wheel. Next Saturday. 1 week. He's getting married in 1 week, and she's here, drowning in his presence, like she's 22 again, and he's the only heir she needs. The truck pulls into her parents' driveway, but neither of them moves to get out. The rain drums against the roof like a countdown, marking seconds they can't get back. Seconds that taste like regret and smell like home. Claire, her name is barely a whisper, but it cuts through her like a blade. She looks at him and sees her own confusion reflected in his eyes, the same hunger, the same impossible longing. The same devastating recognition that some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. The Millbrook Diner hasn't changed in 15 years. Claire sits in the same corner booth where she and Ethan used to share milkshakes and dreams. Stirring her coffee and pretending she's not watching the door, she came here to think, to figure out her next move, to convince herself that seeing him yesterday was just closure. The coffee tastes like lies. Fancy meeting you here. His voice sends electricity straight down her spine. She looks up to find Ethan sliding into the booth across from her, moving with that easy confidence that used to make her knees weak. Still does, apparently. Are you following me? The words come out more breathless than accusatory. It's a small town, Claire. Population 3,000. Kind of hard to avoid each other. He signals the waitress, who practically floats over. Of course, she does. Ethan always had that effect on women, an effortless magnetism that made them want to take care of him, to bask in his attention. Claire used to be the exception. Now she's apparently just another casualty. The usual Ethan. Marcy, still working here after all these years, beams at him like he personally invented sunshine. Thanks, Marcy. His smile is warm, genuine, the one Claire remembers from their first date, their last fight, every moment in between. And bring Claire here some of those blueberry pancakes she used to love. Claire's heart does something gymnastics-worthy in her chest. You remember what I used to order? I remember everything. The words are quiet, weighted with intention. His green eyes lock on hers, and suddenly the diner fades away until it's just them. Just this moment, just the dangerous current running between them like a live wire. Ethan, tell me about LA. He leans back, but his gaze never wavers. Tell me about your big success story. The irony cuts deep. It's complicated. The best stories usually are. She wants to lie, to maintain the facade of having it all figured out, but something in his expression, patient, knowing, familiar, unlocks the truth before she can stop it. I got fired. The words tumble out like a confession. 6 months ago. The show I created, that put me on the map, network decided they wanted to go in a different direction. Apparently, that direction didn't include me. Ethan's face softens. I'm sorry, are you? The question escapes before her filter can catch it. Or are you thinking this is karma for what I did? The silence stretches taut between them. Marcy appears with pancakes and more coffee. Her cheerful chatter a stark contrast to the tension crackling at their table. When she leaves, Ethan reaches across the table. His fingers brush Claire's knuckles, and the contact burns like a brand. Is that what you think of me? His thumb traces over her ring finger, the one that's been bare for 3 years now. Since her engagement to Marcus imploded spectacularly. That I'd celebrate your pain? I left you. The words are barely a whisper. I broke your heart and disappeared for 15 years. Most people would call that justice. Most people aren't me. His hand covers hers completely now, warm and sure and impossibly right. And you didn't just break my heart, Claire, you shattered mine too when you left. The admission hangs in the air between them, fragile and dangerous. Claire stares at their joined hands, at the gold band that shouldn't be there, at the impossible tenderness in his touch. You're getting married. She needs to say it, needs to put the barrier back up between them before she does something they'll both regret. Yeah, his thumb is still moving across her knuckles in slow, hypnotic circles. I am. To someone who isn't me, to someone who isn't you. The pain in his voice matches the ache in her chest. She should pull her hand away, should get up and walk out and drive back to LA and figure out how to rebuild her life without looking back. Instead, she turns her palm up, letting their fingers intertwine. What are we doing, Ethan? I don't know. His confession is raw honest. But I can't seem to stop. Neither can she. That's the problem. That's always been the problem. The diner door chimes, and Claire sees Ethan's expression change, his hand tensing in hers. She turns to follow his gaze and sees a petite blonde woman scanning the restaurant, her face lighting up when she spots their table. There you are. The woman approaches with a smile that dims slightly when she notices their joined hands. Marcy said you were here. Ethan pulls his hand away like he's been burned. Sarah. This is Claire Morrison. Claire, this is Sarah. Claire extends her hand, forcing a smile. Congratulations. Ethan told me about the wedding. Sarah's handshake is firm, her smile polite but wary. Thank you. I didn't realize you two knew each other. We went to high school together, Ethan says quickly. Too quickly, oh. Sarah's gaze flickers between them, reading the undercurrents with an intelligence that makes Claire's stomach clench. Well, it's nice to meet you. I hope you enjoy your visit. The dismissal is gentle but clear. Claire stands, throwing a 20 on the table. I should go. Thanks for the coffee, Ethan. She's almost to the door when his voice stops her. Claire. She turns, and the longing in his eyes nearly undoes her completely. Welcome home. The words follow her out into the afternoon sunlight, where she stands on the sidewalk trying to remember how to breathe. Behind her, through the diner window, she can see Ethan and Sarah talking in low, urgent tones. Sarah's hand rests on his arm possessively, but Ethan's eyes are still fixed on the door where Claire disappeared. 1 week until his wedding. 6 days until she has to figure out how to let him go. Again. First breaking of emotional boundaries, 600 words. The old covered bridge hasn't changed. Claire finds herself there at sunset, drawn by muscle memory and the need to be somewhere that feels like hers. The wooden planks creak under her feet as she walks to the center, where she and Ethan carved their initials in the railing when they were 17, and convinced they'd found forever. The letters are still there, weathered but visible. ER+CM surrounded by a heart that seemed so important then, so permanent. I figured I'd find you here. She doesn't turn around, doesn't trust herself to look at him in this place, where the ghosts of their younger selves are so vivid she can almost see them. Shouldn't you be having dinner with your fiancé? She keeps her voice light, casual, like her heart isn't hammering against her ribs. She had to work late. Catering emergency. Ethan moves to stand beside her, close enough that she can feel the warmth radiating from his body. Sarah owns the bakery on Elm Street now. Of course she does. Claire traces their carved initials with one finger, the wood smooth from years of weather. Perfect small-town life with the perfect small-town girl. Claire, no, it's good. It's what you always wanted. The words taste bitter. Roots, stability. Someone who won't run away when things get complicated. Is that what you think you did, ran away? Finally, she looks at him. The golden light of sunset turns his hair copper, highlights the new lines around his eyes. He's watching her with an intensity that steals her breath. Didn't I? You left. His voice is quiet, careful. But I never asked you to stay. The admission hits her like a physical blow. Because you knew I'd choose the job. Because I was afraid you'd choose me. And then spend the rest of your life wondering what if. They stand in silence, the weight of 15 years settling between them. Below, the creek babbles its eternal song, indifferent to human heartbreak and regret. I did wonder, Claire whispers, every day for the first 5 years, every success, every failure, every lonely night in my perfect apartment with my perfect view. I wondered what would have happened if I'd stayed. Ethan turns to face her fully, and she sees her own pain reflected in his eyes. And now I know. She takes a shaky breath. I would have been happy, probably happier than I've ever been since. The words hang between them, dangerous and true. Ethan's hand lifts, almost involuntarily, to cup her cheek. His thumb brushes away a tear she didn't realize had fallen. Claire. Her name is a prayer on his lips, a question and an answer and a benediction all at once. She leans into his touch, letting herself have this moment, this connection. This rightness that she's been searching for in all the wrong places. I loved you, she whispers. God, Ethan, I loved you so much it scared me. Loved. His forehead rests against hers, their breath mingling in the space between. Past tense. She should say yes, should lie, should protect them both from the truth that's burning in her chest like wildfire. Instead, she rises on her toes and kisses him. It's supposed to be soft, gentle, a question mark of a kiss. But the moment their lips touch, 15 years of longing ignites. His arms come around her, pulling her against him like he's trying to fuse them together. She tastes desperation on his tongue, hunger in the way his fingers tangle in her hair. This is wrong. He's marrying someone else in 6 days. Someone sweet and stable and everything Claire isn't. But for this moment, in this place where they began, it feels like coming home. When they finally break apart, both breathing hard, Ethan's eyes are dark with want and conflict. "We can't," he says, but his hands are still on her face, still holding her like she might disappear. "I know. Sarah doesn't deserve this. I know. I'm getting married on Saturday. I know." The words break something inside her chest. "I know. And I'm still going to love you anyway. I'm going to love you until the day I die. And there's nothing either of us can do about it." The confession hangs between them, raw and honest and devastating. Ethan's eyes close, pain written across every line of his face. "Claire," the sound of voices carries across the water, breaking the spell. A family with young children, heading toward the bridge for an evening walk. They spring apart like teenagers caught by their parents, the magic shattered by reality's intrusion. "I should go." Claire backs away from him, from the temptation he represents, from the future she can't have. "Don't." The word is torn from his throat. "Please, just don't go yet." But she's already moving, already running like she did 15 years ago, because staying means destroying the life he's built, the happiness he's found, the peace he deserves, and loving someone means wanting what's best for them, even when it breaks you. The storm hits at midnight. Claire lies in her childhood bedroom, listening to rain lash against the windows and trying not to think about Ethan, about the way he kissed her, about the devastation in his eyes when she walked away, about the fact that he's marrying someone else in 5 days. Her phone buzzes against the nightstand. A text from an unknown number that makes her heart stop. "Can't sleep. Meet me." She should delete it, should turn off her phone and force herself to forget the taste of his lips, the feel of his hands in her hair, the way he said her name like it was sacred. Instead, she's pulling on jeans and a sweater, sneaking out like she's 17 again. The old barn on the outskirts of town is where they used to go when they needed to be alone, away from prying eyes and small-town gossip and the weight of other people's expectations. Ethan's truck is already there, headlights cutting through the darkness. She finds him inside, pacing like a caged animal. His hair is disheveled, his shirt wrinkled, and when he looks at her, his eyes are wild with something that looks like desperation. "You came. I shouldn't have." But she's moving toward him anyway, drawn by an invisible thread that's been pulling her back to him for 15 years. "I know." He stops pacing, watching her approach with an intensity that sets her skin on fire. "I know we shouldn't be here. I know this is wrong. I know I'm getting married on Saturday. And I know you're leaving again. And I know this is going to destroy everything, Ethan. But I can't stop wanting you." The words are torn from his chest, raw and desperate. "I tried. God knows I tried. For 15 years, I tried to forget you, to move on, to build a life that didn't have you in it. And I almost succeeded." Thunder crashes overhead, matching the storm brewing between them. "Then you walked back into that diner, and it was like no time had passed at all. Like you'd never left. Like I'd been holding my breath for 15 years, waiting for you to come home." Claire's heart is hammering so hard she's sure he can hear it over the rain. "Stop. I can't." He's closer now, close enough that she can see the flecks of gold in his green eyes, can smell his cologne mixed with rain and desperation. "I can't stop, Claire. I've tried everything, therapy, distance, building a life with someone else, but you're still here." He presses his hand to his chest. "You're still right here, like you never left." "I did leave." The words are barely a whisper. "I left you, and I hurt you, and you found someone else, someone good, someone who won't break your heart, someone who isn't you." His hand lifts to cup her face, thumb tracing the line of her cheekbone with devastating tenderness. "I love Sarah. She's everything you said, good, stable, perfect for this life I've built. But she's not you. She'll never be you." Claire closes her eyes against the pain in his voice, against the truth that's been burning between them since the moment she came home. "What do you want from me, Ethan?" "Everything." The word is a confession, a plea, a promise. "I want everything we never had. I want the life we should have built together. I want 15 years back, and I want a future, and I want you to stay this time. I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm telling you." His other hand finds her waist, pulls her closer until they're breathing the same air. "I'm telling you that I'd call off the wedding tomorrow if you asked me to. I'd disappoint my family and break Sarah's heart and deal with the fallout. Because 15 years without you was enough. I won't do it again. The storm rages around them, but inside the barn, there's only silence and the weight of his words settling between them like a loaded gun. Don't do this to me. Claire's voice breaks. Don't make me be the reason you destroy your life. You're not destroying it. You're saving it. His forehead rests against hers, and she can feel him trembling. Ask me, Claire. Ask me to choose. You. She looks into his eyes and sees her whole future there, messy and complicated and uncertain, but real in a way nothing has been for 15 years. She sees love and hope and the possibility of finally coming home. She also sees Sarah's face, sweet, trusting Sarah, who's planning a wedding and a life with a man whose heart belongs to someone else. I can't. The words tear her apart. I won't be the other woman, Ethan. I won't be the reason you become someone you can't live with. Then what? His voice cracks. What do we do with this? Claire reaches up, memorizing the feel of his face under her palms, the way his eyes close when she touches him like he's in physical pain. We say goodbye. Each word is a knife to her chest. We say goodbye, and you marry Sarah, and you build the life you're supposed to have. And you, she forces herself to smile through her tears. I figure out how to live without you. Again, the kiss that follows is desperate, hungry, devastating. It tastes like goodbye and regret and all the tomorrows they'll never have. When they finally break apart, both of them are crying. I love you, Ethan whispers against her lips. I love you, and I always will, I know. Claire steps back, already feeling the cold where his warmth used to be. I love you too. That's why I'm letting you go. She walks away before she can change her mind, leaving him standing in the barn with the storm raging around them both. For days until his wedding. 3 days until she has to find the strength to watch him marry someone else. Claire is loading her suitcase into her rental car, finally fixed when the church bells start ringing. Saturday, wedding day. She planned to be gone by now, to spare them both the torture of knowing she was here while he married someone else. But her flight was delayed, then canceled, and now she's trapped in a cosmic joke that feels like punishment for 15 years of cowardice. The bells echo across Millbrook like a countdown, each chime another step toward Ethan's new life, a life that doesn't include her, a life she chose to walk away from. Again, she's shoving the last of her things into the trunk when she hears the footsteps. Going somewhere. Claire spins around to find Ethan, standing in her parents' driveway, still in his pajamas and a rain jacket, his hair wild from sleep or stress or both. Were you? She checks her watch. Ethan, your wedding is in 3 hours. I know. He moves closer, and she sees something in his eyes that makes her heart stop. Determination. Resolution. The look he used to get when he'd made up his mind about something and nothing could change it. You should be getting ready. Sarah will be looking for you. Sarah called off the wedding. The world tilts sideways. Claire grabs the side of her car for support. What? Last night, she came over. Said she couldn't marry someone who was in love with someone else. His laugh is bitter, self-deprecating. Turns out I'm not as good at hiding my feelings as I thought. Ethan, no. Claire's heart is breaking for Sarah, for him, for the mess she's made by coming back. You have to fix this. You have to, what? Convince her to marry a man who's been thinking about his ex-girlfriend. For their entire relationship, he's closer now. Close enough that she can see the exhaustion in his face. The pain of hurting someone he cares about. She deserves better than that, Claire. She deserves to be someone's first choice, not their consolation prize. But you built a life together. I built a safe life. A comfortable life. A life that looked right on paper. His hands find her arms, holding her steady when she wants to collapse from the weight of guilt and relief. An impossible hope. But it wasn't the life I wanted. It was the life I settled for, because I couldn't have the one I actually wanted. And what life is that? The one where you don't leave. His voice breaks on the words. The one where we fight and make up and build something real together. Messy and complicated and uncertain, but real. The one where I wake up every morning next to the person I actually love. Not the person I'm supposed to love. Claire is crying. Now, tears streaming down her face as 15 years of buried dreams surface all at once. I hurt you. I left you. I came back and destroyed your relationship. How can you want? Because you're you. His thumbs wipe away her tears, and his touch is so gentle it makes her sob harder. Because you're brilliant and ambitious and impossible, and you challenge me and frustrate me and make me want to be better than I am. Because when I'm with you, I feel like the person I'm supposed to be. I don't know how to do this. The confession tears from her chest. I don't know how to stay, how to build a life with someone, how to not run when things get hard. Neither do when his forehead rests against hers, and she breathes in the scent of him. Lets herself believe this might be real. But I want to learn, with you, if you'll have me. The job in LA, there are jobs everywhere. Or maybe I'll come with you. Maybe it's time I took a risk. His smile is tentative, hopeful. Maybe it's time we both stop being so afraid of what we want. Claire looks at him, really looks at him, and sees not just her past, but her future. Uncertain, yes. Complicated, absolutely. But there's, ask me, she whispers. What? What you asked me to ask you the other night. Ask me. Understanding dawns in his eyes. Stay, he says, and the word is everything: plea and promise and prayer. Stay, and let's build something real together. Stay, and let's see what happens when we stop running from what we want. Claire rises on her toes, and when she kisses him, it doesn't taste like goodbye anymore. It tastes like coming home, okay? She whispers against his lips. Okay, let's try. The church bells are still ringing in the distance, but they're not counting down to an ending anymore. They're ringing in a beginning.